When you were in Detroit, y'all were called the Bad Boys.
Yeah.
Why?
David Stern was the commissioner of the NBA, and the fouls. The world started changing in the NBA. We became international, and people may have thought we were international. We were, but it became a thing that they were targeting the rest of the world.
Right.
You can't have insubordination. You can't talk back to the referee. You can't yell and scream and pout.
So the league was changing.
Yeah, in the Asian market. That's disrespectful. So it started changing, and two of my guys kept getting fines. And he was like, these guys are just like bad little boys. And so our documentary that NBA Entertainment did in 1988 was called Bad Boys. It had Isaiah on the cover. So that became our name. And Bill Lambert was like, you know what? We the Raiders of the NBA. So that's going to be our mentality.
I get that reference.
It's so funny that basketball players are always like the rebels, because in our high school, like the football players were the ones that were more listened to the rules, and the basketball players were the rebels. And my theory is just that when you're a basketball player, like, you can learn to just play on the streets. You don't have to really be in necessarily team sports to learn, whereas football, to learn the necessities, you really got to be on the field.
Yeah.
But basketball, you can just pick up a basketball and go out there and shoot on anything.
And it's so funny you say that. You can shoot on anything. You don't even have to shoot it in a basket.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Just to
you can be creative.
You can figure it out. It's a poor man's sport. It's a good. The difference why football players seem more regimented is there's 55 of them, and they it's like an army. In basketball, you have to find your individuality. And when I was on Detroit, I had Dennis Rodman as a teammate who found his individuality. And
absolutely.
Everybody, we had a bunch of characters that wanted to win, and that was my favorite part of playing in the NBA. My favorite teammates: Brian Shaw, Glenn Rice, Willie Burton. It was guys on Miami, Ralph Lewis, Chuck Nevitt, also in Detroit. I like all my teammates.
Right.
I love everybody.
No doubt. But love is love.
Yeah, I didn't realize how many people I had played against and with. But it's a different thing. So they call us that because the NBA's changed and it's international now. I don't want to say the wrong thing, but there's some teammates that you get thrown on the team with.
It's like being in an office, working in a cubicle. You got to go to work. You got to work next to this dude.
Yeah, everybody said,
like him.
What was your favorite team? I said, I work for the NBA. So it was like being at IBM. Either I was in IBM in Minnesota, or IBM in Detroit, Chicago.
You won big every team you went. When you
I'm a winner. I'm a winner.
You played to win.
Yes.
Right? When you were in Detroit in the Pistons and y'all won, y'all were in the finals 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
Right? And then there was this narrative that developed when you played the Bulls that Michael Jordan hated everybody on the team.
Loved everybody.
That's a false narrative.
Yeah, he hated Bill Lambert.
Okay.
He didn't no one liked Bill Lambert at the time. I just started liking the cat like a week ago. But MJ loved our competitive spirit. He liked that was a challenge. He liked that he had to get up for it. I get in a lot of trouble when I said he's not the greatest of all time. He was the greatest of the 90s. I say that just to piss most people off. I know, you know what I'm saying? I know, but I'm me. I'm not going to just totally agree. And I'm a Brooklyn cat. You always got that guy.
Yeah, that's in New York.
My man's in them down the street.
Yeah. I give him numbers, that kind of shit. But I also saw on YouTube, there's this thing where this guy sent me, once you punch your name in, anything that you've ever been on that's on YouTube pops up. And there's a video of him dunking on me. I literally, don't look it up. I just saw 8 people go on their computer. I literally saw that and then ran it back. I ran it back and was like, holy shit, he really did get me. So in my park in Canarsie in Bayview Project, if you got dunked on, you had to take your sneakers off and get out the park for a second. My brother at the end of it was like, you want to up them sneakers right quick? I'm like, shut up, go get the car.
What's a story that you haven't shared with you and Michael Jordan, whether you're a teammate or opponent, where you just are shaking your head like, oh my God?
What's so tripped out is The best thing also about being an NBA ball player, there's only 12 of you guys. Mm-hmm. So the cliques are smaller. But the women are all the same, meaning we all fish in the same pool. And the competition is like West Side Story, like the Sharks and the Jets over a girl. It was the craziest thing. Those are the only stories you ever get to. When I got to, I think it was Minnesota, I went to a club and each of the top players had their own section with a velvet rope.
Oh, wow.
And there was girls in that section looking at the girls in this section, looking at the girls in that. And I walked in thinking, I am going to take as much as I possibly can and try not to get beat up before I make it back to the limo. And I literally was like, you want to go back to the hotel? Free liquor. You want to go back to the hotel? Free liquor. You want to go free liquor? You know what I'm saying? But as far as with MJ, he plays cards. Mm-hmm. Him, Scotty, Ron Harper, it's another difference with now. Dudes knew their worth and their value, and they stayed out of, if they can stay out of the eye, they stayed out of the eye. They didn't want to be out at the club, sitting there being stared at. Michael didn't do that.